Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I haven't filmed over here, I haven't filmed on any of my channels except for my vlog channel for the last couple days because we have been getting some construction done inside of our house, and so it's been very, very loud. So I haven't been able to film for the last couple days, and so today I am trying to play catch up a little bit, film some videos, and so I thought that I would jump on here before I do my vlog and I would read a meditation for the weekend. So let's pick a meditation to read. I have a couple days to pick from. So I have both of the Melody Beatty books with me today, The Language of Letting Go and Journey to the Heart. Today is November 15th. Let's go in here and see what today's meditation is, but I also have like 2 days before too. Benefits of Recovery is today. I don't over here, I know if I was doing like a story that was specific to recovery or talking about an experience of mine, but as far as meditations, now she's in here talking about recovery from codependency, but I don't love to do specific meditation specific to recovery, like a step, like if it says step 6 in here. Some of the meditations in The Language of Letting Go are like specific to a certain step or tradition. I don't love to do those because there's obviously a lot of people that watch this channel are not in recovery. So I like to do the ones that are a little bit more overall. 14th, letting our anger out. November 13th, taking care of ourselves. Maybe I should do both of those. Let's do both of those. November 13th, taking care of ourselves. We do not have to wait for others to come to our aid. We are not victims. We are not helpless. Letting go of faulty thinking means we realize there are no knights on white horses, no magical grandmothers in the sky watching, waiting to rescue us. Teachers may come our way, but they will not rescue. They will teach. People who care will come, but they will not rescue. They will care. Help will come, but help is not rescuing. We are our own rescuers. Our relationships will improve dramatically when we stop rescuing others and stop expecting them to rescue us. Today I will let go of the fears and self-doubt that block me from taking assertive action in my best interest. I can take care of myself and let others do the same for themselves. I love this meditation. I also think that the understanding of it can be misconstrued a little bit. I think that depending on where you're at in life, to read a meditation like we can take care of ourselves means that we don't ever ask for help. I think there are a lot of times in life, and that this has been a hard lesson for me to learn, that I have to ask for help. If there's something that I can't do for myself, or there's something that I can't achieve on my own, I need to ask for my help, or I need to ask other people for help. There are many times that I've had to go to my sponsor and say, I just can't figure this out on my own, and ask, say I have to ask for help. Going to my therapist, getting a therapist and saying, I need to work through some of this. Like, I need help. That's the time where obviously I can't do it on my own. I can't figure it out. Asking my husband to help me with something, asking my best friend, asking neighbors. I think that's appropriate, Ask somebody to help you move, ask somebody to help you cook a meal, ask somebody to help bring you something. There's all kinds. You might, if you're going through something right now and you just can't figure everything out, you might need somebody to help you, with your kids, or cook a meal, or, pick up something for you or whatever. I think there are times I've asked for money if you need to borrow money from somebody, and come up with a plan to pay them back. I think it's okay to ask for help. I think that I lived much of my life, especially after I got sober, with this kind of like do it all on my own mentality, where I had to learn that I felt like I was forcing myself like never to ask for help. Like, I've got to learn I can always do it on my own. I'm the only person I can depend on. You can't depend on other people, blah, blah, blah. That's been proved to me time and time again. What I realized by starting to ask people for help was that, number one, it was humbling to me. It was humbling to me to have to ask somebody for help. The other thing I had to learn from that is, have you ever had somebody ask you for help? It makes you feel useful. So when we're asking people to help us, it allows them to feel useful. It allows them to feel important. It allows them to feel like they're part of your life. So us asking people to help us is also allowing them to feel like they're a part of our lives. That's not what the meditation is talking about. The meditation is talking about allowing us to learn our own lessons on our own, not having people constantly need to rescue us. I've been there before where I have felt like nobody's there to help me and I can't do this on my own and woe is me and blah, blah, blah. And that goes into victim mentality, right? Where like, if and everybody else has people to help them and I never have anybody help them. And what she's saying in this meditation is, There's no magical fairy godmother in the sky that's just going to like take away things and release them. You know, I learned a lesson years ago. I was talking to a friend of mine in recovery, and it's a suggestion in recovery that we don't date for our first year of recovery. And that suggestion comes from a lot of different philosophies, but the ones that I've always been taught have been, number one, you don't have anything to give for your first year of recovery. Like, you don't have anything to give to a relationship. You're working on yourself. You should be working on yourself. You should give yourself that year to just focus on yourself. Now, we're also told that if we're in a relationship, don't get out of it, and not to make any drastic changes in your life in your first year of recovery. And that would include relationships. So, don't be getting divorced your first year unless it's absolutely necessary, things like that. You don't want to get sober and leave your spouse 3 months in, you know? So, but the recommendation about getting in relationships for the first year has been a suggestion I have heard ever since I got sober. Didn't do it, got in a relationship the week I got out of treatment, and the fact that I'm still sitting here today is a miracle. And so, you know, like, that's a suggestion to us. We don't have anything to give for our first year of sobriety. The other thing is it's a year that we can just focus on ourselves, that we should just be focusing on ourselves for at least that first year. I mean, I've literally known people that on day 365 are like, can I go on a date now? You know? I mean, that's a whole video I could do all on my own. But I was talking to a friend of mine one time, and this is nobody I've ever mentioned in a video, but she sponsors a lot of young girls. And I was saying to her something about, we were talking about like, when you sponsor somebody, and she's like, I just ask that they're honest with me, you know, like if they're dating somebody, because, you know, a lot of these women would be in halfway houses, dating other guys in halfway houses and stuff, and she's like, I just ask that they're honest with me. And I was like, because there's a lot of sponsors in recovery that will say, you cannot date anybody, and then people will keep it a secret. I think I kept it a secret from my sponsor for a while, because I didn't want to be yelled at, you know, and then they'll keep it a secret, and then they're not telling anybody, and she's like, I just tell my sponsees to be honest with me and tell me, like, if you're dating somebody, just be honest with me and tell me about it. I'd rather you be honest with me than keep it a secret. And I said, so you don't tell them, like, I've had people that I know that will say, I won't sponsor somebody if they're in a relationship in their first year and whatever. She's like, no, she's like, and what she said next was not just about, this is why I'm bringing it up. It wasn't just about relationships and recovery. It was about everything about how I look at the world. And she said, it is not my place to stand in front of somebody else's pain. And she said, maybe they need to learn a very powerful lesson by being in a relationship in their first year of recovery. And it took me back to when I was in a relationship. I had to learn by going through 2 very painful relationships in my first year of sobriety, to where my sponsor came to me and said, are you ready to do it my way now? And I was like, yep, because what I'm doing, my best thinking got me where I'm at. It's not working for me. And that idea of standing in front of somebody else's pain is what we do when we rescue them. There's a difference between helping somebody move, finding them the appropriate resources to have a therapist or a counselor to talk to, getting them into a doctor, okay? Suggesting that you will help them financially as long as they pay you back. There's a difference between helping somebody out and rescuing them. Rescuing somebody is taking away their pain. It was such a valuable lesson when she said that to me, because what it taught me was, when I'm standing in front of somebody else's pain, and what she was saying was, they might, like, maybe the relationship will work, but maybe it won't. And hopefully they won't use through that, but maybe what they'll learn is, like I did that first year, is I need to take some time and focus on myself. Like, I don't have any business being in a relationship, you know? And she's like, maybe they'll learn things about themselves, but I just want them to be honest with me about it. I'd rather them be honest with me than keep it a secret, and then they're going through a lot of pain secretly by themselves, right? She's like, it's not my place to stand in front of somebody else's pain. Well, it wasn't the first time that I had heard that kind of scenario before. I've had, you know, other people that have gone back out and started using again that I wish would come back into a 12-step program. And I've had friends of mine, sponsors of mine say, maybe they haven't had enough pain yet, you know? Pain is a great motivator. Pain is a great motivator to inspire change. And so when we rescue people and we take the pain away, we take the lesson away, then they're not going to learn that. I think as human beings that are compassionate and empathetic and sympathetic, we naturally want to do that. We naturally want to take away somebody else's pain because we don't want somebody to hurt. There's a difference between saying to somebody, listen, you're going through a lot right now. I'll help you find somebody to talk to. You know, and if you can't afford it, I'll even maybe help you pay for a session or two so you can process it with an outsider. Or I'll get you the resources that you need. You know, I'm not talking about helping somebody move, okay, from a house to an apartment. That's completely different. I'm talking about emotional lessons that we want to rescue people from. You know, or just giving people excuses to just get away with stuff, paying off people's debts and never, you know, it's like, I feel like a lot of people that I know that had to, like, I had to learn lessons the really hard way, you know, sometimes to make changes, you know, and I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer that, I don't know, like, you know, when there was still, we talk about the giggle left in the bottle. There was still a little giggle left in the bottle for me when I stopped using. But if my using wasn't causing me pain in my life right now, I can tell you, if it was working effectively for me, and I was still drinking and having fun, and I had never had any consequences and no hardships over it, I would still be drinking today. There would have been no reason for me to stop, you know? And it really, to be honest with you, took my dad coming in and saying, I'm done. You know, I'm not helping you anymore. That was his way of saying, I'm not going to rescue you anymore out of your problems. I'm thankful for him for doing that to me today. At that time, I wasn't, but I'm thankful for him today for saying, I'm no longer going to rescue you for your problems. You get into trouble, it's yours to deal with. You deal with it. I'm not part of it anymore. You know? And he said to me the last time I went to treatment, this is the last time I'm helping you, this is it. And every year my sobriety birthday, which is coming up next month, I always call him on my birthday and I always thank him for paying for treatment. I always pay him for my education, or thank him for my education. Those are the two things that, the greatest gifts my dad ever gave me. And in that order, my treatment, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the last treatment that I went through. And I went through several treatments before I got sober. That's a way to help somebody. You don't necessarily have to pay for it, but you can walk them to the door. You can help them get on a waiting list, you know, for, you know, an affordable treatment if you can find that out there. There's things you guys can do. There's things that I can do where we don't have to rescue. I am that person that wants to swoop in and rescue somebody from their emotional pain. But like my friend said, it's not my place to stand in front of somebody else's pain. Maybe they have to go through that. That's what this meditation is talking about. It's a valuable meditation. If you think about some of the greatest lessons you've learned in your life, probably they are because you suffered a little bit of pain through them. And as a result of that pain, you're like, I'm going to make some changes. Whether that was getting out of a toxic relationship, a romantic, friendship, or family, and saying enough is enough, or, you know, overspending, job changes, whatever that was in your life, you know? We all had to go through some pain. If we hadn't, we wouldn't have probably made those changes. So when we want to rush in and rescue somebody from their emotional pain, we're taking away the lesson a little bit from them, you know? And that's not fair. That doesn't mean that we can't be a voice for them to talk to, or an ear for them to talk to. You know, we can't be somebody that can listen to them, be empathetic. We can still be empathetic and sympathetic. We can still be a shoulder to cry on. We can still be somebody that says, let's sit down and figure out what you can do. We can help somebody with that without rescuing them and taking away their problems. Anyway, I think this is a great meditation. I'm not going to read the other one today. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.